Our top story this morning, dramatic developments in the investigation of that deadly Amtrak derailment in Philadelphia on Tuesday. New surveillance video shows the train speeding down the tracks and leaving the rails in a shower of sparks from overhead power lines. As the National Transportation Safety Board tries to determine the cause of the crash, the FBI is launching its own investigation.
That came after word that some kind of projectile or rock or possibly a bullet may have hit the windshield of the locomotive before it derailed, killing 8 passengers and injuring dozens of others. The NTSB also says 2 other trains in the area may have been struck as well, shortly before train 188 crashed. Kris Van Cleave is in Philadelphia with the latest. Kris, good morning.
Good morning. These new developments mark a major turn in the investigation. When we first heard about the SEPTA train, that's the regional commuter service here in Philadelphia, being struck, we were told it was unrelated to the derailment. But now with this damage to the derailed train, train 188, as well as now the possibility of a second Amtrak train being hit, the NTSB is asking the FBI to take a closer look. New security camera video of the moment Amtrak train 188 met its tragic end, derailing at over 100 miles an hour. The National Transportation Safety Board's Robert Sumwalt reported Friday, in addition to the engineer, 2 assistant conductors from train 188 have been interviewed, one revealing new information. Shortly after leaving the Philadelphia train station, she heard a SEPTA engineer report his train being hit. The NTSB is also aware of reports of a Washington-bound Amtrak train being struck by an object. Damage can be seen in this picture taken by a rider. Both incidents occurring in the same general area and shortly before the derailment.
Our investigation has not independently confirmed this information, but we have seen damage to the left-hand lower portion of the Amtrak windshield that we have asked the FBI to come in and look at for us.
While NTSB investigators say engineer Brandon Bastian has been very cooperative, he does not remember the incident.
He's required to sound his bell as he goes through past a station stop, and he did that. He recalled doing that. But he has no recollection of anything past that.
Friends say Bastian has a lifelong love of trains. They describe him as careful and exacting. Xavier Bishop worked with Bastian at Amtrak for a year.
He was very thorough. He was always on time. He always had his paperwork. He pretty much was he always had his highlighter highlighting the speeds and the restrictions of what was going on.
With the FBI now looking at the damage in this major new development of the investigation, it's still unknown why the train accelerated from 70 to 106 miles per hour heading into a sharp curve. Retired train engineer Doug Riddle worked for Amtrak for 36 years. He says engineers are required to know the speed limit on the tracks at all times, explaining that every 23 seconds, engineers have to respond to an alarm designed to keep them alert, as Bastian reports doing.
It's unusual for something like this to happen. There's a distraction. There's something that happened, and the only person that knows what happened is that engineer.
We've also learned the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office is following the NTSB investigation and gathering information. It is too early to know, however, if that will turn into a criminal investigation. Anthony?
Kris Van Cleave in Philadelphia this morning. Thank you, Kris.